Life gets a lot easier when you finally stop confusing what you want to happen with what actually needs to happen. See, that's the tension of life. Desire versus destiny. We pray for one thing, but life hands us another, and in the moment, it feels cruel. But sometimes what feels like punishment is actually preparation. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Chris. Chris lived and breathed basketball. He was the kind of kid who shoveled snow off the driveway just to get shots up. The kind of player who wore holes in his sneakers because he stayed on the court after the lights went out. By the time he hit high school, everyone knew Chris was the one. Scouts started showing up. His coach whispered about scholarships. His mom, who worked 2 jobs, finally allowed herself to dream about her son making it out. But in his senior year, one wrong landing changed everything. A torn knee. His whole future unraveled in a single play. Doctors told him recovery would take too long. Scouts stopped calling. Friends moved on with their own lives. And Chris was left in the quiet. Night after night, sitting in his room staring at trophies that suddenly felt like tombstones of a life that would never come back. He asked God, "Why give me a dream if you were just going to take it away?" For years, he carried that bitterness, until one summer his old coach asked him to help with the kids at the community center. Chris didn't even want to do it at first. He thought it would make the wound hurt worse. But something happened. The first day he showed up, those kids looked at him like he was a hero. They mimicked his jump shot. They hung on his every word. And slowly, Chris felt that fire again. Not in chasing the game, but in passing it on. There was one kid in particular, a skinny boy named Trey. He was raw but hungry. Chris poured into him the way no one had poured into him. He taught him the discipline, the focus, the heart behind the game. And years later, Chris sat on his couch watching Trey on TV, jersey on his back, crowd screaming his name, lifting the championship trophy. Tears filled Chris's eyes, not because he was jealous, but because in that moment, he finally understood. The dream didn't die with his injury. It was reborn through Trey. What he wanted was to shine. What he needed was to light someone else's path. That's the lesson right there. Sometimes life blocks the very thing we're begging for, not because we don't deserve it, but because it's not aligned with who we're meant to become. Chris thought he lost everything when his knee gave out. But really, life was shifting him from chasing glory to building legacy. See, what you want usually serves the moment. It feeds your image, your hunger, your pride. But what you need always serves your soul. It stretches you, humbles you, and positions you for impact beyond yourself. And when you can finally surrender the want and trust the need, life gets lighter, because you realize it was never rejection. It was only redirection. This is the quote room, where words wake minds. Some things don't need a reaction. Just reflection. Just a few thoughts I had on my mind.